What do you do when you have 1,000 ideas for your next project, but you can't choose between them? There are so many projects and so little lifetime in which to do them all. We can only do so many, so how do you pick? The anxiety of indecision, I feel you, I have my own. And while you're having all the anxiety of indecision and trying to make a decision, you're spending time trying to make a decision. So you're wasting time that you could be spending doing one of these projects from this endless list. So how do you end the indecision, stop wasting time and just pick something? This is a perennial problem for all of us who are creative. There are always more ideas than we can ever do. But I would say the problem we're having is that in most of our lives, we try very hard to make good decisions. And we're trying to make a good decision when we're trying to pick a project. What is the best project out of all of these options? And the problem is, there isn't a bad decision. It's a lot easier when you've got a range of choices and there is one good outcome and lots of bad outcomes, or one optimal outcome and lots of not so optimal outcomes, and you just have to pick the best one. How do you pick the best idea out of a range of best ideas? Because they're all equally fantastic. You've got the problem that you're trying to choose between a good idea and a good idea, and another good idea and another good idea and another good idea. It's easy to pick between good and bad. How do you pick between good and good and good and good and good? So the first thing I would advise after 30 years of doing this is, first of all, you've got to honour all of those fantastic ideas you've got. You've got to get them out of your head. Pinterest is great for this. Put them somewhere. Put them somewhere where you can see them. I would have said at one time a scrapbook. I would have said printing out photos. Now we have Pinterest. So get your ideas out of your head and in front of you. Get them written down. Get them in a notebook. Some people like to have an ideas notebook. A friend of mine, Cara Andretta, who is a cake artist, she has an ideas parking lot. As in, she has a notebook where she puts all of the ideas that are officially going on the back burner. So they're described in detail in that notebook. So she has them all stored. So she's not going to forget any of them. So she can come back to them so that they are documented for posterity. So all of the good ideas are still there. So you document them, you put them down, you give them the honour of existing in the world outside your head. And then it just gets a little better to have them all out there and not just running around your mind. And then how do you pick one still? Well, you need to assess them all honestly. We're going to get in here into, are you a head person or are you a heart person? Do you make decisions with your head or with your heart? There is one way to go about it if you're a decide with your head kind of person. There's another way to go about it if you're a decide with your heart kind of person. So if you're a head kind of person, you're going to go with, well, what are my resources? You're going to go with pros and cons lists. You're going to go with, what do I have the skills to do? What are the projects where I have the most skills already to make it easier for me? Or, which is the project with the least skills I already have, so I get to learn the most, whichever appeals to you. What have you got time to do? What have you got the money to do? What can you do well on your budget? Those are all kind of head type decision-making tools. So what compromises will be required, and which one can you do with the least compromises? Or which one will require the most compromises and the most creative thinking? That may be what appeals to you. So that's if you're a head person. If you're a heart person, it's a little different. If you're a heart person, you've got to just feel into each one. You've got to put them up around the house and see which ones give you the most joy when you look at them. You have to start looking at them for an extended time, looking at them when you're not thinking about them. When you walk past, if it's on your refrigerator, then you'll get the feeling as you go past. Does this give me joy? Or does the one on the bathroom mirror give me more joy? You can go with any method you like to trying to feel into each one and feel whether it works. You can go into flipping a coin and deciding whether you like the result. So that's the heart way of going about it. But here's the truth. None of us are really heart people or head people. I think we're all the same. I think we are all heart people at heart. You make decisions. Think of buying decisions when you're deciding what to buy or whether you're deciding whether to buy something. If you're honest, you make that decision with your heart. You make the decision emotionally, and then you justify the decision with your head. You use all of those practical details to justify the decision you just made with your heart. So I would go with the feeling into each one approach, because you can tie yourself up in knots if you're a mathematician like me or a logical type of person. You will enjoy writing the lists and doing the pros and cons and figuring out, but you can spend hours doing that, and really in the end, all that it does is to give you more time looking at each idea so that you do figure out which one your heart is with. You will figure out, after all that faffing about with lists and pros and cons, you will know which one is calling to you, and you will make the decision regardless of what the details say. So, make the decision with your heart, openly and honestly, and then justify it with your head. And if you still can't decide which project to make, put it to a poll. If you've got an audience, ask a friend to pick for you, and then decide whether you like the result. Put them in a hat. Anything you can do to just make a decision, because you know at this point you're trying to choose between the good and the good, not between the good and the bad. So you just need to find a way to pick a horse and go with it. In the end, you might just need a deadline to make a decision. And you might just need to give yourself permission to do the other ones in future, if necessary. So in conclusion, if you've got 1,000 project ideas and you can't decide between them, A, get them all out of your head onto a Pinterest board, into an ideas parking lot journal, and honour them all, get them all out of your head. Secondly, assess them honestly. What are the pros and cons? What are the skills and resources you have? What compromises will be required? What opportunities and challenges will they bring? And then finally make the decision with your heart when you've looked at all of them for long enough and you know which one is calling to you, even though it's crazy and stupid and you probably shouldn't pick that one. Pick the one that calls to you. Tell me in the comments below about a dilemma you have with picking a project, or a dilemma you have had with picking a project in the past, and how did you make the decision in the end? Give everybody some ideas in the comments. And by the way, don't forget, today, as this video goes up, we are beginning our 4-day free workshop on how to nail your competition entry for the Foundations Reveal competition. Part 1 begins in about 3 hours as this video goes up, but it continues throughout the whole weekend, and the recordings will be up there. So if you would like to join in and find out how to pick an idea for your competition entry that's ambitious but not too ambitious, if you'd like to learn how to pace yourself through the next 5 months until the deadline so that you can make a great entry without having to rush at the last minute or scale back your vision because you run out of time, if you'd like to see past competition entries and hear me and one of the Foundations Revealed mentors going through entries and picking out what makes a really great entry that stands out and may win a prize, then you need to sign up at the link below, and we will get an email to you that will tell you where you need to be and how to get the recordings. So that workshop is just about to start, so sign up below and we will see you there.